Well, it's been a long time, I think. You're finally hearing from us. I don't think we gave you guys a proper send off last time. To be honest, we were just kind of pouting at the end of the season after Game 3. It wasn't really a fun time because especially I watched that game on ESPN and then I had to go to work that night and it was all bad. But your boys from Banditland Boulevard are here in the flesh, and if you're watching us on YouTube, welcome. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, hey, look, we're on YouTube now. So if you want to see the visual platform, you want to see what the boys look like, if you haven't seen what we looked like yet, there's your opportunity. Tony LaMonica, aka Boxhead98TL, with one of your co-hosts right here in the flesh, Trevor Howard. How has it been going, Tony? The Bandits are 3-1. I've been
Hmm.
busy, so this is our first pod of the new season, but the boys are looking good right now.
Yes, they are. I mean, after a kind of like a slow, but where the heck were we going? Start at home against Albany, and they
That
just
was a
been on
tough
a
one.
roll lately.
That was
Yeah,
that was a tough one.
But after that, I think that kind of woke up the boys and said, "Hey, guys, this is not who we are. We don't lose." By one for a reason. We lose because our heads weren't in the game, or we obviously miscommunicated, or possibly out we got outplayed. Obviously, the young boys of Albany said, "Hey, we don't have our six top guys anymore. So now it's time for us to shine." And look what they did. They ended up winning 11-10 at Key Bank Center. But ever since then, the Bandits been on hot. They've been 3 games straight. You can't ask for more, especially, let's see, goals against average now. Well, technically speaking, goals fourth. It's been up around 14, 15 per game. Can't ask for
Been
better
looking
than
great.
that.
I mean,
And they
14,
look
15,
good.
14, 15 goals should be enough to put a team away. That's what, at least if you're talking Toronto Rock, Georgia Swarm, most of the time Albany Fire Rolls, but they said, you know what? We saw how good this team was. They took us in overtime last year in Albany. We don't want that to happen again. They came out hot. I'm just going to say
Yes, they
that
did.
better team, great goaltending. And also, Tony, we haven't even talked about the new acquisitions yet and the departures. So no more Connor Fields, which kind of broke my soul a little bit
Yeah,
last June.
it's a big move.
No Kevin Burnell this year, but
Yep, off to the Tide.
we have some players to replace those guys. Dylan Robinson, who scored his first NLL goal about a week
Mm-hmm.
ago against the Halifax Thunderbirds. Great seeing that. Also,
Yep.
to see a guy like Big Brandon Robinson, where the hell did this guy come from? He's been
Hmm.
looking great too, scoring 5 against the Georgia Swarm, which we'll get into in a little bit, but
Sure.
huge game from him. Uh, right now it's been the Josh Burns show, 7 goals in one game against Halifax. And Tahoka Nanakoke, we were pumping on this show because if you guys remember last year,
Last year.
established 2022 Banditland Boulevard, we were saying rookie of the year. While he didn't get that, and I think he was really snubbed out of that top 3,
Mm-hmm.
he has the possibility of getting that MVP. He has been the
MVP
MVP for
caliber.
the Bandits.
That's tough, but sure.
It's tough the way Connor Fields has been playing in the 5-8-5, but I think if you're talking team MVP, this is a guy who really just put it all on his back. Chase Frazier came into the season on the injury reserve. We don't know when he's going to return. Chris Kuche on the injured reserve. We don't know when he's going to return. So you got guys like Thomas Vason stepping up. And right now, they're at 750 winning percentage. They're 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
You get rid of you kind of put that Albany game in the rearview mirror, and you're facing this home and home stand against the Georgia Swarm. Took them on the road, 18-9, doubled them up. What a game that was!
Yeah, they pretty much put the pedal to the metal and they didn't even look back. Basically, they said to themselves, if we're going to win this game, we better start fast. And that's what I told us last year. If you're not going to start off quick and don't look back, that's exactly how they got to play all the time. And basically, that's what I'm sure the fans are saying. Why can't we just get a jump start and then just maybe trail and just play steady, but keep them on their toes? But that's what we've been preaching last year. And then the same thing, look, it's showing again. You go off hot, you get on a spark where you're going to be up like 5-6 goals, and you coast in a way, but also to keep up with your opponents. But they were finding the net left and right last what was it, a few days ago, and they were just lighting up both Dobson and Wendy. It was unbelievable how they were just finding goals left and right.
And I mean, not to mention right now, the Sabres are getting their asses kicked by the Philadelphia Flyers with the goat head jerseys on. So we just decided
Uh-oh.
to light up your night with some highlights from one of the good Buffalo teams in here, that could actually double up and beat other teams and score 18 goals. That's the only team I know is the Buffalo Bandits that can score 18 goals in Buffalo.
Mhm.
So we're just trying to keep your mind off the Sabres right now. But I mean, big game. I think Georgia, correct me if I'm wrong, they had to pull their starting goaltender after he let in the first 5 goals in the first 3 minutes of the game.
Yep. 5 goals and 9 shots. They said we had to pull him. And I was like, wow, already giving up hope on this guy. But you got to slow down. But they weren't slowing down. The Bandits just kept on scoring. And there was no hope for Wendy either. He just didn't
Nope.
know what to do.
They left him
He
out to
was so
dry.
lost.
They left him out to dry, and he gave up 13 goals, but
Mm-hmm.
he shut out the rest of the first quarter. So they probably thought, hey, this is a great decision. We can come back in this game. And then Robinson scores 5. And then Ian
Mm-hmm.
McKay scores. And then, I mean, Tehoka's scoring and Josh Byrne is scoring. And the Bandits are just really piling it on 18-9. While it doesn't seem very close at all, because it really isn't, the Bandits did go 0 for 1 on the power play. But here's something that we really haven't seen yet all the season. They got over 50% on their faceoffs, 19 of 31. They were struggling hard against Halifax. I think they only won like 6 faceoffs out of 40 something, I'm pretty
Yep.
sure, which was very,
Albany,
very
too.
rough. And Albany. It's nice to see that the Bandits can get these little mini moral victories within a big victory like that. Like faceoffs are finally coming together. The
Mm-hmm.
goals, 18 goals should be enough to put away any team in the National Lacrosse League, unless they score like 20 goals on you, which really isn't that common. But the Bandits scored the first goal, didn't look back, and that shows you the shades of the 2022 Bandits, the way that they would operate. When they scored that first goal, they would rarely look back and they'd run up the score.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice to see that they were almost averaging 5 per quarter. And the way that the Bands were playing, they were just out to kill. And that's basically what they did. You figure the Swarm were going to come in and sting us to death, but it was the other way around. And we just basically turned it around on them. And like you said, we won by double digits and double the score, 18-9. And that's what you proved to be. Why the Bandits are so good when they just start off hot during a game. But you also got to realize that it's also the goaltending too as well. You got experience versus the unexperienced. You got Matt Vince in net for the Buffalo Bandits, and that's the reason why that we have been successful in most games above the rest. And that's why I'm so happy that we got Matt Vince for another year. This might be, you know what? I don't know if the rumors are true because they're all saying this might be his final season
Yeah.
with the Buffalo Bandits. I mean, maybe they'll sign him to one more year. I don't know. We all don't know. So all we can say is that be graceful that we have Matt Vince for another season, and maybe this might be the year or possibly the championship run again. And maybe this time we're the victors on top.
And we can ride him out into the sunset the way that he honestly deserves it.
Yes.
Because, I mean, if you go back, and we don't really like going back to game 3, it was just the reason we could do a whole show about it, but the reason was John Tavares didn't change his game plan from game 2 to game 3. That's what bit us. That's what bit us in the butt, and that's why we lost that championship. But Colorado's a great team.
They are a fantastic team.
But at the same time,
tough.
if you saw that ceremony or the presentation of them dropping the banner, that banner doesn't it looks so bland and boring. So I'm kind of over it now. They sound like the most ugly looking banner or the most basic looking banner. I'm like, you want to have that hang down from the Pepsi Center or wherever you play now? Fine, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I mean, a great summer for those guys, for that city. I mean, while the Rockies weren't very good, but the Avalanche and the Colorado Mammoth both won in the same month the championship, so that's good. Good for them. But here's the thing about this Georgia game. The thing that's really, really scary to me is that Dane Smith is such a weapon. He led with the Bandits in shots on goal with 14, but at the same time got 7 assists. So he's a shoot-first guy, but he's also a pass-first kind of guy, if that makes any sense. Teams should really be afraid of Dane Smith. And you're looking at this guy, Brandon Robinson, 73, bigger guy. You think he's an enforcer. No, he's a goal scorer. He led the team.
Yeah, especially with that the ESPN goal with the one-handed shot over the shoulder on Dobson. I couldn't believe the fact with that goal. But again, like you said, this is something new now. Dane Smith's got to experience with new players being on the team too as well. The thing that I wanted to start off by saying about Dane Smith is after watching him the first game, like he was all over the place. But the fact is that the shots were not on net. It looked like he was really struggling from his MVP year, coming down to like, oh my God, is this his first year again? Like he was
Right.
struggling to find the net.
Taking weird shots. Yep.
But then here's the thing I'm seeing as outside looking in, as most fans do, is that you got to understand maybe now, since he's gotten all the hype and everyone's always going to be based on him.
Yep.
He's allowing players to up their game and to actually score the goals for the team. Why is it always got to be 92 to do all the goal scoring?
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Nope.
And the thing is that I'm liking the fact he's becoming more of a playmaker now than he is a goal scorer. That's fine. As long as the other guys like Josh Byrne, the Robinsons, Cloutier when he gets back, Frazier when he gets back, who else is out there? Tehoka now trying to be the go-to leader. It's only his, second year?
Second year, yep.
Second year. So give him a chance to shine. Look what he's done this past game. He's already got 8 points, 4 goals, 4 assists, and he's really becoming one of the team leaders in the point go-getters. So you got to kind of like hand the torch to another player to be the goal scorer instead of seeing Dane Smith do it mostly. I'm not saying that Josh Byrne has not done it. I'm not saying that other players on the team have done it, but this kind of gives you a little relaxation for a well-known player to say, hey, I don't have to be the goal scorer all the time. I got faith in my teammates that can do the same job. And look what's happening. We had a sock trick by Josh Byrne last game against
Fans
Halifax.
throwing socks all over the field.
That almost happened again if Brandon would have got one more goal against Georgia. And I was ready. I was so ready to throw even if I was at the bar, I was ready to throw the sock at the TV for all mankind. I swear to God, they were like, we're just throwing these dirty socks up here. The beer sucks. No, I'm just saying. But the fact is that I really wanted to see that happen. I was like, that would have been great to see. But you know what? The W is what I wanted to see is, I almost did an L there. So I was like, oh shit, that's an L, not a W. But the W for the boys in the orange and black, but good for them.
And they did. And they did in great fashion too. I mean, absolutely blowout fashion. It's stuff that the Bandits have really been doing to the Georgia Swarm. Like they used to be the thorn in our side, especially when they played in Minnesota. You go back to those days when they played in Minnesota, we had a tough time beating that team. I've been to the games where they lost like 18-14 in Buffalo against Georgia. I'm like, these guys are really, really good. And then when they go to the playoffs, they're like, well, what's all the fuss about? They're out in the first round. And then Buffalo started to catch on. And it seems like ever since 2006, the Colorado Mammoth have been giving us headaches, and we've known that for a long time. But we've kind of overcome the whole Georgia Swarm thing. And we've especially since last year, we've really been blowing those guys out. And we got another shot coming up this week. I know the Bandits take them. Is it this Friday or I think it's this Saturday?
It would be this Saturday.
This Saturday, they take on the Swarm. I think
January
that should be
14th.
a really good game. January 14th, Banditland. Should be really, really loud for that game. And I think, you know what, one of the things that I saw out of from one of the past games, I think it was against the Thunderbirds, Matt Vince, while he is such a great goalie, he's kind of showing his age a little bit. I don't think the possibility of retirement is just a possibility. I think that could be a real thing that could happen. You saw a lot of those shots going over his shoulder. He would be dynamite with those in the past. He's not letting anything go over his shoulder. But then you look at a game like Georgia, and he's stopping everything except for the bounce shot. The bounce shot is the hardest thing to stop in lacrosse. Just ask anyone. He has his weeks where he's kind of weak along the shoulder side, but there's also weeks where he's locked down. So you know what? Inconsistency could be a little bit because of age, but at the same time, he's still the same guy. And if we really want to win this championship, we got to win it this year more than any other year. If we want to send Matt Vince into the sunset, I think he's going to keep signing 1-year contracts until, we win that title.
You think maybe if they keep, like you said, if maybe not this year again, you think they'll re-sign him again next year and keep Devlin Shanahan on the shelf until he's like, hey, I got to see a little playing time actually right at the end there because since they were up so much, and I believe he stopped 4 or 5.
He stopped Lyle Thompson on a breakaway and a rebound. I mean,
yep. So that could show a lot of promise, guys. I mean, it's only one shot, and it's also only a total of 5 on him, but 1 got by him. But again, Is this what we're going to be seeing in the future for the Buffalo Bandits? It might be Devlin Shanahan as our guy, or are we going to see Matt Vince again one more year if we don't win the championship?
We
But
also don't know
either way,
what's going on behind the scenes, right? Like we don't know
that's true. No
if
one
Matt Vince
knows.
is maybe prepping Devlin Shanahan a little bit. Like he said, hey, listen, this might be my last season. Just watch what I do.
Mhm.
Work with me in practice because I'm warming you up because you could be the full-time starter next year. We don't know what's
Absolutely.
going on in the locker room with that. But the point is, like, yeah, we had a bad game 3. That was a heartbreaking championship loss. And especially after that game 1 where all you had to do was go 500 the rest of the way. But you see the 3-1 start and you get that hope again. You get that promise again. So yeah, we don't have Connor Fields or whatever, and Rochester is probably going to be that. It's going to be us and Rochester, probably that 1-2 juggernaut team, and
Yep.
which would make for a great Eastern Conference championship series.
Sure would.
100% would make for a great series, especially if game 1's in Rochester. You know that Bandit fans are going to be invading that building. But season goes on, and I think when you have these, you lose a couple of decent players. You think you're going to get David Brock, and then he retires, then unretires, then signs with the Thunderbirds, and then now he's on the IR. Everything's going wrong, it seems like. But then you see the first 4 weeks of the season, the Bandits are 3-1.
Yep, especially how, like you said, or like I said, it's a rocky start, but then they said, look behind you, that's done. We can't keep looking back and make it like worry ourselves. And then look what they did. They go and they march out to 3 straight victories, especially the confidence booster that you need. And that's not to sound cocky, and it's not to sound like, yeah, we're the best again. You're not. You have to look at the standings, guys. And Rochester is really surprising a lot of teams this year, and
There's
especially a
there's way
4-0
more
start.
competition. There's way more competition now than last year
There
ever
is,
was. Like,
especially with the draft and everything else going on. I mean, I mean, what else can you ask for? This is what the best of National Lacrosse League is, how it's going to grow. And I'm hoping more teams join in, because this would
yeah,
be great for the entire country and for the basically all of North America to basically say, hey, we can, all cities can play. And I would love to see more than 30 teams in this league actually grow. But until then, we got Vegas now. The Desert Dogs are now here.
we got Panther City that was an
Panther
expansion team
City,
last year. Yep.
Fort Worth, yep. So
Our
hopefully these will
boy.
be new teams to come. I'd like to go and see them in other cities too, besides after flying out to Colorado to watch game 2 live, and obviously be on like TSN.
Yep. Albany.
Let's see, what other channels? ESPN2 and all that other jazz. And I'm sure a lot of people back home are like, oh, we saw you guys there. I'm like, you should have came out and supported them.
Game 3 was on ESPNU. It got so much recognition. So
Yes.
but I mean, yeah, like you said, you got the Desert Dogs in the league this year. You got Panther City with our boy TK coaching that roster in Koluski. And those boys over there, even though they did lose Jeremy Thompson,
Now he's with Georgia.
who was their captain, which is a little crazy to think that after year 1 they're trading away their captain. But it would be nice to see the league expand and to see some more cities come out and support these guys. I know that Chicago used to have a team. I know Detroit used to have a team.
Bring back Boston.
Boston Blazers used to be our number
Bring
one rival
back the Blazers.
outside of the Philadelphia Wings back in the 90s. If you guys remember that, the Blazers were right there as one of our top rivals. And then the expansion of Rochester, and then everything, we've always been huge rivals with them. San Jose used to have a team.
Yep.
I think Portland used to have,
Portland
used to have a team.
1 year Portland. Unbelievable. They go to the championship their first year and then they fold. How?
We beat them so bad.
That's there. You don't just get rid of them. Jesus.
We beat them and they said, yeah, we're done. That was our one and done run. So and that was not that was too. Edmonton as well, for sure. Because they're over in Saskatoon now as the Rush. But yeah, that was go back to 2008. That game was that was never a blowout in any fashion whatsoever. I mean, Portland took the lead, or we took an early lead, and then Portland would come back with the lead, and then Buffalo. And keep in mind, this is when it was one and done. This wasn't a best 2 out of 3. This was a one and done thing. And I don't know what you guys think. You guys can comment below or share your thoughts, but I think that's what it should be. I think it should be one game.
I like nail-biting games. That's what makes the game exciting.
I absolutely agree. Like, we would have hosted Colorado. That game 1 would have been for the championship. We would have won.
God, now that you said that, I'm just even more pissed about that series. God, it just was like, oh, you had to bring that one and done, and it would have been like, that's it. Bandits win at home, and we're all set. We don't have to worry. Vince can ride off into the sunset if he wishes, but it's like, damn it, now we can't. No,
And
best of
we
three.
finally climbed the hill of we finally beat the Colorado Mammoth. Like
Yeah.
that would have been great. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this league is really growing. I know they had a special on ESPNU right before the season started. They're like, I saw this like 30-minute show. They're like NLL season preview 2023. I'm like, I might have to check this out. The Anchors, to their credit, never slept on the Buffalo Bandits. 2 out of the
Nope.
3 said they would win the East.
That'd be great.
The other guy said Toronto would win the East. I don't know
Yep.
what he's looking at right now or if he's chewing his words right now, but Rochester, where in the don't even tell me Connor Fields is the only reason why they're this good. There's no way.
It could be. It could be. And
I
that's
mean,
scary.
one player changing up a whole team. I don't know, but the
It's
goaltending's been
possible.
locking it down. They did lose Beltran to the Desert Dogs in the expansion draft, who was one of their top players last year. So, can one guy change the defense, offense, and goaltending? I don't know, but you do have some of the old Bandits familiar faces. You got, I think you still have Hogarth over there,
You
if I'm
got
not
Hogarth
mistaken.
over there. You got what's Jesus? I am terrible with names. That's why I'm looking them up right now as we speak. So
I know that Mitch DeSnoo was over in Toronto, and
Yep.
I've been saying free him, get him back in Buffalo since the day he left. Give
Mhm.
him to a contending team. That team will be locked down on defense. I wouldn't mind having Snoozer come back. I think that'd be a great signing. But
Oh, that's who it is. It's Matt Bennett.
Matthew Bennett.
And they got Jordan Storos now.
I forgot about Storos. Yeah.
They got Jordan Storos. They got Matt Bennett. They have Matt Gilray.
Gilly. Yeah, I forgot about Gilly.
Gilray's over there too, yeah. And like you
Wow.
said, Thomas Hogarth is there as well.
Hoagie. Wow. Yeah, but that team
Or
is
like
pretty
my friends would
stacked.
like to call him Hodor. From the night. They call him Hodor. Hodor. Yeah, but yeah, they got some good players on their team, and I'm surprised how well they have been playing.
They do, yeah. But you know what's also good? You're going back to the Bandits here. Seeing some of these guys that they've been growing and developmental are getting some starting reps. I mean, Dalton Sulver is a full-time starter, which is great. You're seeing Brad McCulley as a full-time starter. When he's when he's off the PUP, it's great to see him off that, by the way. He's a full-time starter. You see Kellen LeClaire coming out of nowhere, playing shutdown defense and transition, looking good.
Yes, he
And
is.
then obviously we all know who Bryce Sweeting is. This dude is the king of blocking shots. He can lay some people out. He's great at blocking shots. It's great to have him back there. Whenever there's an expansion draft, it's always a good and a bad thing because you know that you're going to lose a decent player, and we did with Connor Fields. And I never thought in a million years he would go to Rochester. Just Vegas had to deal him there to get 2 consecutive first-round picks. Like it was. Rochester kind of shot themselves in the foot losing 2 first-round draft picks. But for all we know, they could be extremely low picks because of how good they started off the season. So this might be win-win for both Vegas and Rochester. But I mean, you're looking at this roster that the Sabres have. Carter McKenzie, I think this is his first start, correct me if I'm wrong, against the Georgia Swarm.
Yeah, I would have to say it is going to be his first start because
Number
he's
29.
Yeah, it's just weird. It seems like he's the Pominville of Bandit Land. That's what he is. So that's unbelievable how well he has been playing so far.
And
Defensively wise, he's actually really one of the next tough guys, like replacing Jordan Storos. And I give props to Jordan Storos. I was surprised we got rid of Jordan Storos, honestly.
Me too. He wasn't the biggest guy, but he was very scrappy. He would always mix it up.
Very scrappy. That's what you needed.
You needed a guy like that, and he wouldn't sit in the penalty box that much.
Spanger.
Oh man, me too. But you look at this roster
is like the defensive men that you need with Sweeting, and that's the 1-2 punch you need right there. But also don't forget our good old captain. As soon as he came back, and plus that's probably the reason why we lost game 1 of the regular season.
Oh, it was shocking to see that he was inactive.
Steve Priolo, and I was like, where the hell is Steve Priolo?
No, when I saw that he was inactive, I was like, what the hell? Like, I thought we were going to win this game. I'm like, oh, you got me second guessing now.
Oh, yeah. Like, nothing. Like, he wasn't there. I was like, this could be a problem if someone else doesn't take the reins and, takes over. But apparently, as soon as he came back, I'm going, it's all good now. It's all good now.
But you look at this roster and you're thinking, like, you don't even watch the game. Look at the roster, and how many goals would you say that this roster can score in a game? Like, no Chris Kluche, no Chase Frazier, no Connor Fields. You got injuries left and right.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, you know what? Yeah, this team might score 12 goals. We might win this game 12.
On average, I would say that too, yeah.
12-10. But this team has depth, and we've been preaching this to you guys since last year. Like, maybe when the playoffs came around, they got a little nervous, couldn't finish the job, whatever. Regular season last year proved to us, and this regular season right now, 4 games in, proved to us that, hey, man, like, this team has depth. And a lot of it.
Well, hopefully we can do the same thing like we did last year and just make sure to stay healthy. And the fact that with the way how we got our new guys like the Robinsons and with McKenzie and LeClaire and all these new signings, I'm hoping that this team is going to still continue to grow and be the team that they have been. But again, like we said before, under the best coach you can ever ask for, or I can say the best player of the land, if you may want to say, and still under Johnny Tavares, I'm going
Alexander
to say
Ovechkin, Wayne Gretzky of box lacrosse. Ovi, Gretzky, whatever you want to say. Whoever's the best
all
player.
combined into one.
Yeah.
Johnny T.
JT.
No doubts.
I mean, Johnny who? That's
Tavares.
That's who he is, man. I mean, here's the thing, though. You're talking like the Bandits this year. Are they contenders? Are they not? I think the first 4 weeks proved to you they are contenders.
They are.
They can lose a top star, but they can also create a new star under development. The thing that they need to do is prove to us that they can finish the job, but you got to take it game by game in the regular season. That's just the nature of the beast.
Yep. Like we said, one game at a time is the only thing that you're going to have to worry about. Worry about your opponent that you're facing that very day. Find out the keys to beat them, score fast, play smart defensively, protect your goaltender, and above all else, what have we always said, Trevor? Stay out of the
box and shoot the damn ball.
That's it.
That's what you guys got to do. And also, I love that this team is bringing toughness. I think before we wrap this up and give our players of the game, you look at the Sabres, and I'm kind of hard. I'm having a hard time seeing what Sabres can actually throw a body check. Like, I'm being dead serious. Like, they've been proving a lot of us wrong this year. They've been looking pretty good, I guess, through the first X amount of months of the season. But they're not that strong. Like, they don't really throw body checks. The Bandits are a good team. They score goals, and they throw hits. They're very physical.
Yes, they are. I like the fact with Carter McKenzie, Matt Spanger, Bryce Sweeting. Then you got your captain, Steve Priolo, and the fact that they got the bigger set toughness that I've been thinking that they've been waiting for. That's going to be a huge factor. Maybe not as fast as what we want, but positioning wise and just straight up toughness, that's what you need to protect your goaltender. And again, the speed will come when you use it. The toughness has always got to be there, and that's the main thing to stay conditioned for the games, to play a full on 60 minutes. And believe me, it takes a toll on the body every single game. I'm sure these guys are probably hurting after every play, after every chance, and every
shift.
Goal, everything, just everything, guys. You got to understand. It's like basketball, floor hockey,
hockey, and ice hockey.
Yeah. Not ice hockey. I'd say floor hockey more, because you're more on feet than you are on skates.
Football. I guess.
Yes, taking
physicality.
A hit.
Yeah.
Good God. That's the only thing. You just can't. You don't understand how these guys are day to day going to work and then playing a sport for their city. And you got to understand that it takes the toll, the mindset, and everything else. But if they're coming out to perform for the same amount of money that they make at a normal job, you guys got to appreciate how much they've done for the city
and how much winning that they do.
Yes, especially
how they're the only
Buffalo's
team.
Been a big time name.
The only team in the KeyBank Center with championship banners. I mean, that's just how important they are to the city.
Yes, they are. You can't go out without the orange and black. I'm telling you right now, folks, if we took away the Bandits lacrosse and they go someplace else, either in a different arena, not saying different city, but I'm saying different arena, you know how empty that would look for just basically one hockey team. And it's not because of the fact
just
that
wouldn't be the same.
they won't make money. It's just it won't feel the same. So, like you said, I think the Sabres and Bandits with the fan base, I think I'm going to say more leaning towards lacrosse because we're loud. I've never hear Sabres games be loud just like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially
unless you're
games.
watching maybe when they won their 10th game in a row a few years ago, that was
Possible.
very loud. The overtime game against the Minnesota Wild when they scored that goal. I mean,
that was crazy.
I've never seen the camera shake like that for a Sabres game in a long time because it was so loud.
Not since the playoff game when Chris Drury scored that game-tying goal.
7 seconds
to send them into overtime.
Yep, 7, and then Maxi Afinogenov in overtime.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been a long time coming for the Sabres, but with the Bandits, you get that consistency. And you have your off years like maybe 2017, 2018, where 2017, you're basically rebuilding your roster. 2018,
True.
You're close, but you didn't really get there. You'd still have great attendance.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're diehard fans. That's basically what it is. And no matter what the outcome is to any sport, football, hockey, basketball, baseball, you name it. But I think lacrosse is starting to become a lot more higher than people think. And
mainstream,
and of course, Bandit Land is one of the hottest places to be because our fans are crazy. And I love the fact that how good we represent our team, and we go on the road to represent the one team that we know is going to be as much loud and annoying and disruptive to any city we go to. And believe me, folks, when I say this, is that we are a bunch of misfits that we can start trouble too.
Yep, and misfits is a great word to describe that because you know what? After this week, we got Rochester in Rochester, and if you don't think, if you don't think,
to see this.
if you do not think you're not going to see a lot of orange in those stands, you are sorely mistaken. I mean, I want to go badly.
You should.
So we'll have to update you guys.
Quick.
We'll have to update you guys on that situation and get some videos of the game posted to the new YouTube channel. But that's what I'm saying.
Now.
We're on YouTube now, just in case you guys didn't know. Real quick, because Zoom is about to throw us out of here in like 3.5 minutes. Player of the game against the Georgia Swarm. This was hard to say, but this guy really stormed on the scene. You may have seen this coming. I'm going with big 7-3, Brandon freaking Robinson.
I like that pick because of how he got his 5 goals and just one more away from a sock trick.
I would have been throwing my socks, man. I would have been throwing.
Like I said, I would have been throwing my socks at the bar, but it doesn't matter. That's a great pick. I like that.
That would be a night that the bartender would never forget if you did that.
Yeah, let's just say don't drink out of the glass that's in there. But anyways, I'm gonna say, oh my gosh, that's funny.
That's great.
I'm gonna say hands down, Matt Vince, downright. Playing lockdown, dial it up. He is not letting anything get by him. And again, just shows you why he is the GOAT of goaltending. And
can we say another game where he lets in less than double-digit amount of goals?
Yes.
He has to lead the NLL in that stat. I mean, I think he's the GOAT of all goalies. He's won, 3 titles in the 5-8-5. He's still got to win 1 in Buffalo. I'm still counting on that to happen.
Matt, if you're watching this, please just do us all a favor. Just get these guys to want to win a title for your sake. I mean, we want to play. We want them to win it for you, technically speaking. We want to see you have another ring on your finger to say, oh, it's orange and black. It's not blue and turquoise or whatever from Rochester.
Yeah, teal and purple. That disgusting.
We want an orange and black ring, okay? Come
on. We don't like that teal and purple garbage. But I mean, it was he's gonna be like the freaking Tom Brady picture where he's like holding up the rings. He's got to have 4. Come on, we need that to happen.
I want him to see 4. I want him to have that ring.
Matt Vince, you're a player of the game. B-Rob, my player of the game, 73, big man. He also got into a fight game 1, if you guys didn't see that. You guys can probably go back on the ESPN Plus rewind and watch that, but he got into a big fight and almost busted a guy open, if I remember that correctly.
That's true.
But we got Georgia coming up, so you know what that means. We got your preview coming up later this week. It's great to have your boys back. Banditland Boulevard.
We are back.
Never forget this name because we will never leave you guys. And we love and support you. I got the Spotify rap stats. Dude, we were like, 55 different listeners and 55 followers and a lot of people that added us to their playlists and stuff. Like, we really appreciate that. We really appreciate it.
Guys, we love you. Thank you for watching and listening.
All day. And you know what? Go Bandits. You know what? 18-9. Let's try to win this week like 20-9. How does that sound?
Oh, you're already making the predictions already? 20-9?
I'm
Jesus.
gonna say that we score close to 18. I know that for a freaking
18
fact.
again? That could be possible. I mean,
Yep.
they have been close. Every game they've been, what is it, 18, 15, 18. That could
We
happen
have we
again.
have we have handled Georgia fine the last 3 years. I'm very confident.
I'll say they'll get 14 and still win.
Nice. So from
I say,
myself, Trevor Hauer, my guy right there, Tony LaMonica, aka Box at 98 TL. Catch him in the bowl seats in KeyBank Center if you're there. Thanks for listening to Banditland Boulevard, and as always, let's
let's
go
go
Bandits.
Bandits.
Let's
Let's
freaking
go.
go.